Hey guys, I have started recording now. What I was explaining here, right? By when I'm saying how many times you need to define a class, right? Defining class means, uh, okay, creating a class, public class, and my highlighter class, and putting methods. Can you see? This is a method inside that class. So defining class means creating a class. Okay, so defining class means creating a class. So how many time you need to define a class? You need to define a class once, and later on you can add more methods in your class, more procedure in your class, but that public class and that class name, you define it only once. And then later on you can keep adding more code. Let's say at this point how many lines I have in this class: 1 2 3 4 5 6. Later on you can keep adding. It could be 100,000 lines in a class, doesn't matter. Okay, so defining class means we will be defining a class just for only once. And then my main class, can you see my main class? We have created here, if you take a look, we have created an object of that highlighted class. Can you see we have created an object of that highlighted class? Now how many, can you see here we have created an object of that highlighted class, right? Now if you take a look, right, it will create a problem. It will create a problem because the name is same, right? So as long as I'm giving a different name, I can create as many object as I want from that class. That is what I was trying to explain. Can you see? There is no limit. As long as I'm giving different name, I can create so many objects of that class. Nipa, does it make sense now? Okay. That is, do you have any further question on this? Oh, how many, like when I say how many times in to define a class, I'm talking about a particular class. Again, let's say my highlighter class. I can create another class, my highlighter class 1, my highlighter class 2. I can create multiple class, but a particular class I can define only once. Okay, are we good up to this? Now, we are going to bring some new things here. Let me undo these couple of things that I have created here. Okay, now, so all of this code that we have written here, right? We put all of this code in the main method. So what is the alternative? How alternatively we can do this? So that is what we are going to explore more. Okay. So let's say that uh, in that particular, what was the class name that we have created? My main class, right? Okay, my main class. Is it this one? Yeah, this one. Okay. So here I'm going to create under this package. How many class I have so far? I have how many class under this package? How many class do I have? I have two classes. Yeah, I have two classes. Now I'm going to create another class under this package. Right click. I'm going to name this class as, let's say, what can I name it? My method class. Okay, I'm going to say finish. Okay, my method class. So here this is my method class. Inside my method class, remember what what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to basically comment out all of these things. So let's say that boolean, and so from here, right, I'm going to comment out everything, whatever I did up to this. So how did I comment out everything together? Control question mark. Okay, and then I'm going to take up to this. I'm going to go back to my method class. I'm going to put it here. Okay, so it will be complaining because my web element, I'll need the libraries. So let me click on this, import web element, and then it will be complaining here as well because these will have to be. Can you see this system.set property? Guys, can you see that system.set property? That means we are we are calling a method of the system. Now we cannot, it will complain here, right? We cannot call anything by dot operator outside of, like, it is inside the class. We are calling something without any method. So we have to create a method for this. So let's say I'm going to create a method here. Let's say my public void my web driver, and in my web driver I'm going to, if I declare that one inside my web driver, there will be no issue. See, the error is gone, right? Are you noticing? Okay. So here I'll take your question. Let me do this and then I'll take your question. And then remember you have a, let me go there. I'll be explaining multiple things by going through step by step. I'm going to take this. I'm going to come here, put it here. Okay, now it will be complaining about my web driver, Chrome driver. Again, I'll have to bring the libraries. If you put your cursor on top of it, import Chrome driver, import web driver, right? Okay. So, hmm? What can you repeat the question? Please repeat the question again. Mm-hmm. Once, yeah. That is only once, but in a new class, when you are bringing this Selenium, you will have to, can you see, you will have to bring corresponding. The libraries are there as a common, but in that particular class, we are not bringing all the corresponding bring classes. We are bringing whatever we need. Can you see in the import section? Yeah, wherever we need it. Yeah. So this reference libraries, we have to do it once when you create an object, when you like create a new project, you right click on the project, right? And then from build path, you bring the libraries. Okay. Now, so what is happening? Now my method class, right? I'm going to create an object of my method class from my main here, right? My mthd obj equal to new, right? I've created that, and by that one I'm going to dot. I have what? My WebDriver. I have created a method name my WebDriver. Where is my WebDriver? My WebDriver. So now if I run it, what will happen? It will just, okay, it will create the WebDriver. It will open the browser. It will open the website, right? Can you see? It will open the website. Up to this, it will do. Now let's go back. Let's go back. Let me close this console. Now let me know, like, ask me question. See here, right? The purpose here is what I'm doing. The purpose here, can you see all this big chunk of code I have written inside the main method? Now if you like, this code is not reusable. So let's say that someone need to just use the login method. Then what they will have to do, they will have to write it again, because they do not have a way to reuse your code. The way now I am doing it, I will be reusing this code. So you will see how I'm doing, and then after that, if it doesn't make sense, talk to me. So now I have opened the browser, right? I have opened the browser, but here, let's say that after opening browser, next step, what is the next step? The next step was um, open the browser, right? Open the browser, open the website, and then maximize maximize the maximize the page. So I'm going to create a method here, public void maximize browser. Okay, maximize browser. Now can you see, now it will be complaining my DRB, it is not able to identify my DRB. Can anyone suggest a solution for this? Let me tell you this. No, if you double click, it will not resolve the issue, right? If you double click, it will not resolve the issue. So now can you see my drb.manage.window.maximize, right? That my drb, I have declared that my drb inside this method, right? I have declared that my drb inside that method. Now that if you declare a variable inside a method, you can only use the inside that method. You cannot use it from inside another method. So what you have to do, you will have to create another you will have to create another object here. So what I'm trying to explain, understand this. Can you see my WebDriver? I have declared an object of that my WebDriver. Now that my WebDriver, this one, is only usable from this method. If you have to use it somewhere else, you have to declare it one more time. Does it make sense? Now, there is like if you have 100 method, then you have to declare this 100 times. There is a common way. You take the declaration out of it, put it here. Put it here. Now you can remove this one from here as well. Now can you see that I am able to use that myDRB from this method? I'm able to use that myDRB from this method. Is it complaining? No. Okay. Now how does it working? So let's say that when someone flies a drone in my subdivision, will you see it? From Shambly or from Durable, will you see that drone? No, no. Yeah, so that is what I'm trying to give an example. So when I'm flying a drone in my subdivision, you do not see it from Durable, do you? But when the moon is in the sky, if I see the moon, do you see it? Okay. So when you when you are declaring that myDRB inside that method, that means you are flying a drone, and that drone can be seen only from that subdivision. That drone can be seen only from this method. But when you have it so high in the sky like a moon, then this method can see it, this method can see it. So if you declare something not inside a method, can you see this is inside a method, this is inside a method. If you declare a variable, outside of any method, that method is accessible from all of the method. If you declare a variable outside of the method, that variable is accessible from all of the methods inside the class. It is like the moon in the sky. Does it make sense? Now if you have multiple methods, you will be able to use the same myDRB WebDriver. Okay. So any further question on this, guys? So here I'm asking, do you have any further question? Okay, all right. So so what is your understanding when I'm declaring that object outside of any method, that means that object is accessible from all of the method. Okay. Now, so I have opened the browser, I have maximized it. Next step is what? Next step is uh, my web element, right? Find my web element is displayed, and then highlight up to this. So I'm going to go to this. I'm going to take this, highlight the logo. I'm going to create another method. or let's say verify the logo. Okay, now again, can you see that there is a complaint here about this line, right? So I'll put my cursor on top of it, and then let's see, import by. I'll have to import by. Okay, so here verify the logo. I am kind of verifying if that logo is there. I'm highlighting that logo. Okay, yeah, that is multiple way. Can you see that we have said is displayed here? My web element is displayed. If is displayed is true, right? We can put a if statement here. I'm highlighting it. We can put a if statement here if else. So you say if boolean result equal to true, then highlight it, give a message that system out println, you give a message that logo display, right? Logo display. Else you give a message here logo didn't display. Okay, now you call this verify the logo. You come here, my method dot um, verify the logo. Yeah, and then after verifying the logo, the next step is we are going to click on the link sign in, right? Sign in. So I'm going to copy from this to this and going to go to my method. Okay, okay, it is click on sign in link. Oh, I'll have to start it here and it here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click on that sign in link, and remember, whenever you write your code, align it properly. Align means you press a tab, select and press a tab. So click on sign in link. I'm going to go there. I'm going to call it one more time. dot um, click on sign in link. Okay, the next step after you click on that sign in link, then what we are going to do, we are going to input the email address. Public void input email address. Okay, then you call this, right? You come back and call this from here. Dot um, dot input email address. Then you come here. Let's take a look what is the other thing. Input email address, and then yeah, password. You input the password, create another method for that. Right. Yeah. Okay. He input password. Okay, the next thing is clicking the submit button, input password. The next method is submit. This is my submit. Public void submit uh, submit login. Okay. Then let me call this. Submit login, and then the last thing is verify that error message displayed. Verify login failed. The name is public void verified login failed. Okay. Bless you. So here verify login failed. I'm going to call this from there. Hmm. Nipa, are you asking a question? Control question mark again. Verify login failed. Okay, now I'm going to remove everything that I have written here. I'm going to remove everything. Okay, so so what you what we have done here, right? If I execute it, it is showing the path executable must be set by WebDriver.Chrome driver. The path WebDriver is set by WebDriver.Chrome driver the system driver 4. Okay, that is fine. Let me go there. So this is my main method. My method obj, my method class. Okay, so in this particular one, when I'm trying to highlight, right? When I'm trying to highlight, remember I didn't create an object of that highlighter method. Every method has a highlighter, right? Can you see? But I didn't create an object of that. Oh, actually I have created an object, my HLT object. So my HLT object, and then system dot set property. Right, system dot set property is my WebDriver. Give me a second. Let me pause this record. Let's say that this particular highlighter, right? I'm going to take out this. I'm going to take out this method. I'm going to put it inside my method class. I'm going to go to put it inside my method class, and inside my method class, if it is inside a method, then I can make a call without creating any object. So now what I'm going to do, again, will that resolve the issue? Give me 1 second. System.set property. System.set property. My dear B. Okay, now I'm going to put my driver. Okay, I'm going to take this web driver. No, let's think alternatively. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so my HLT object, my highlighter method, I have to pass that my DRB, my driver, and that driver will have to have that. Let me resume this. Okay, so I have removed that web driver. My DRB is here, right? And then I'm going to replace this. I'm going to replace this line, Control H, Java search, Control H. I'm going to replace this line with something else. I'm going to remove this. I do not need that, and I do not need this DRB here. Okay, my web element and public void. Oh, this class I do not need it. I just need this method. Okay, now I do not need this. I do not need this particular one. I do not need this. I do not need this particular one. Then I do not need this. I do not need this parameter. I do not need this. I do not need this parameter. Here I do not need this object. I do not need this. Okay, let me run it one more time and then I'll take your question. Yes. Now what? The path to the driver executable must be set by WebDriver. Chrome.drivers for information. See, okay. And what line it is complaining? My method class line number 12. Right, my method class line number 12. Let me, my method class line number 12, it is complaining. Okay, new Chrome driver. Oh, yep. So that is where. So this, right? This will have to be after that line. So my driver equal. Note here what we did. WebDriver my DRB. We have declared the variable here, but we have put something in it after this line. Now it will not show this complaint. Yeah, now it will not show any of this complaint. I'll explain more. Let me run it and then I'll explain more. Okay. Do you see the code is running fine now? Okay. Now let's come back to the code. So what we did here, right? What we did here is that WebDriver, Chrome driver, it will have to be after this line. Before you put the system.set property, before you put that, you cannot, before you put that line, you cannot put something in the MyDRB. So to declare a Chrome driver, you first need to system.set property where your Chrome driver is. Can you see what we are doing here? We are defining where the Chrome driver is. Where the Chrome driver is. We are defining where the Chrome driver is, and then only you can put something in that WebDriver. Is it? You got it? Okay. Okay. So here are the things. This particular driver, right? MyDRB. Does it make sense? Like only time you can put this Chrome driver in that variable is once this line is declared. We have declared the variable here, right? Can you see? We have declared the variable here, but we have stored something in it after this line is declared. This is the dependency. And then since you have declared it here in line number 12, right? Since the since the main thing here, we have declared it here, we are able to use it from all of the methods. Okay, number one. Number two, that highlighter method, we have changed a little bit on the highlighter method. So in the highlighter method, right, uh, can you see that my web element, this my highlighter method, this web element, my web element, this particular, remember previously it was taking one more parameter, and when we have called this highlighter method, we didn't invoke any object. Do I have to use any object to call that highlighter method? No. Why? Because this highlighter method is a brother. Can you see? This highlighter method is a brother of this particular method. I'm saying brother of this particular method in that sense. Remember, I'm saying this highlighter method is the brother of this particular method. This particular is the brother of this method because they are inside the same class. They are similar method. Does it make sense? These are inside the same class. These are similar. This is another method inside this class. So if you like from inside this method, I can call this method without declaring any object. Similarly, I can call this method without declaring any object. If it is a brother method, like if it is a similar method from the same class, you can call it without declaring any object. Okay, now that's why I didn't declare an object to call this, because these are a similar same level method inside the same class. Okay, now can you see here, previously it was taking a parameter from driver. At this point it is not taking any parameter from driver. We have that my driver, this is the global, right? This is the global up there, my driver, my drb, right? This is the global, and this global thing is um, this global thing is you can use it in every method. So that's why I didn't have to. Now let's say that since I have this method here, I do not have to call this by the object, but you can do that. So what you can, let's say when you are highlighting here, you can call this by that highlighted object. This is the highlighted object, right? This is the highlighted object dot. But when you call it from there, from this class, remember this takes Chrome driver as a parameter. So what I'll have to give, I'll have to in the method class, when I'm calling it in that way, right? When I'm calling it in that way, I have to give a parameter. What is my Chrome driver? I have to pass this Chrome driver. This Chrome driver. Okay. Okay, guys, are we good? Okay, so in the class, yeah. Mhm. Okay, so that will have to be a parameter, because you like remember when you are highlighting, actually that, can you see when you are calling it from here, that web element, we do not have to make it as a parameter. That web element is global as well. So when you are calling in that way, you can remove this web element as well. You do not have to. That will work. You do not have to put that web element as well, because this is again that web element as well. We have it here global. But if I remove it now, I have to remove it from every time. Can you see I'm calling it? I have to remove it from everywhere. Mhm. Now, can you see like I have called this highlighter method from line number 37 in a way, and then I call it from line number 30 in a different way. Okay. So as long as like when you are calling it from that method, right? That method you have two parameters. You have to pass these two parameters because this class doesn't know what driver it is, what web element it is, unless you pass it. So that's why when you call it by the object, then you have to pass these two parameters. Okay. Now let's come back to the main class and execute it. Okay. So so can you see what is happening here? Um, Now, why I have written this particular code in a different way? Previously, everything was inside the main class. All my declarations, everything was inside the main class. Now, what do I have inside my main class? I have only the methods. Now, why I have modularized it? Mhm. Still, I have hundreds of lines of code here. Okay. So let me explain. Yeah, that is correct. The way you have explained it is correct. Let me put add something with this. Now, let's say that you are testing this test case login, Jaman. Let's say your colleague, they are testing login and they are placing an order. They are testing the placing an order part. You are testing login, they are testing placing an order. Now, to place an order, they'll have to log in. Is that correct? So the way we have written here, your colleague, they can just associate this method, this class with their test, and they can call all of this method without writing the definition of this method. They can just associate this class with their project, and they can call all this method, and they can test it without writing those details. They do not have to write the details of the code. They will just be able to call it in that way. Can you see one liner? You have modularized your code so that other people can use it. And when other people can use it, that is where you are saving time. Your code is saving time. Does it make sense? Okay. So here um, now if I ask you, um, can you see like three different classes I have created here, and I have called different methods from, like from this one, from this particular method. I have called a method from this highlighter, and from my main class I have called all the methods that I have here. So all the methods that I have, I put it in my method class, right? And then all the uh, caller, this is kind of a caller. I have called all the method of this method class. Okay, so so for a particular way of understanding object oriented language, right? Object oriented language, the main concept, key concept here, one of the key concept, you have to have you have to have classes. And from hmm? Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, so the key concept here in object oriented programming, you have to have your classes, and when you have your classes you can create object and then you can use them. You can use by using object you can call different methods. Okay, so now let's go back. So we have modularized this. So few ways to identify object in the website, right? There are few more way we can identify object. We will have to understand these different ways of identifying object. So far, let's say that if I run this code again and bring the website. Okay, so let me go back. We have used different ways to identify object. Let's say that if I ask you, can you verify that login failed? So now let's say you want to click on, you want to create an account. So since you do not have a account, you cannot do much thing. But if you want to create an account or if you want to do some other functionalities verification, right, from here, we have what we have verified. So we have verified, we have input things here, input things here. Let's say we have another test case where we want to verify the element in the home page. So when I'm saying verify elements in the home page, let's say we have to verify this particular buttons, right? And then we have to verify this, create an account, email address, all of these things we have to verify from the home page. So what will you do? We have another test case, right? We have another test case to verify the home page of these home page elements, and then we will go for other details. So we have to write another test case. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to bring TestNG. So you will see that, can you see I have written a main method here, and inside the main method I have one test case, right? Now you can, how many main method you can have in a particular test? You can have only one main method. But if you have multiple test case, how will you do that? You have to bring TestNG. There is a framework called TestNG. Now we are going to bring TestNG in this particular test case. So how do you do TestNG? That is what we are going to do now. So to do TestNG, if you go to help, and then there is a, can you see Eclipse Marketplace? Help, Eclipse Marketplace. And here, okay, if you type test ng, right, then can you see test ng for Eclipse? You will see that I have already installed it. Can you install test ng in your Eclipse? In my case, I have it installed. So uh, please install TestNG in your computer, and then we'll go from there. In the meantime, I'll go take a water for me. Okay, I have started recording again. Now, with TestNG, we do not need a main method. Okay, we do not need a main method. Let's say that in this particular one, uh, TestNG, I can say create convert to TestNG. Okay, can you see convert to TestNG? Or let's say I'm going to create a TestNG class. Create TestNG. The source folder for an existing project must be specified. Okay, the source folder, my login negative test. So I'm going to actually, let me create a new project. Okay, I'm going to create a new project. You will see how I'm doing it. I'm going to create a new project, Java project. Next, I'm going to name it as my TestNG project. I'm going to say finish. And inside my, I'm going to say no here. Let me go back to my project here. My TestNG project. Where is my TestNG project, right? And then here inside the source, I'm going to create new, and then package. I'm going to name any package, that's fine. And inside the package, I'm going to create new class. Let me see, what class do I have? No, not this class. I am going to create TestNG class, right? I'm going to name the class name as new TestNG. I'm going to include before um, before test, after test, and I'm going to say finish. Okay, now over there, right? So here it will complain, but what we will have to do, click on the complain and then add TestNG library. Since you have installed TestNG, you will be able to add TestNG library, and then all of the complaints should be gone. Okay. Now let me show you what you are going to do. Remember that you have you have all the methods. You have all the methods where you have all the methods inside my main class, my highlighted class, everything is there already, right? So what you do, see where that project is. Let's say, can you see my login? Go to properties and see where that particular where that particular project is, and then from here right click, and then can you see import, and then git maybe and gradle install, okay, general, and actually existing projects into our base now. Hold on. So here I'm going to properties, run is new class, new class, and I'm going to, no, not this, source folder, okay, not this, I'm going to, okay, so let's say this method class, right? This method class, I'm going to bring it here. Some modifiers must be saved before this operation, okay. Okay, now I brought it here, and then I'll be going to this particular method. I'm going to bring all of this import, right? This import will not work because in this particular project, do I have the Selenium libraries? No, I'm going to build the libraries. Okay, apply and close. Now I'll be able to bring all of this. Okay, is good. Now it is complaining about only the highlighter. Now remember that I do not have the highlighter here. I'll have to bring the highlighter class as well. So I'm going to bring this highlighter class into that one, into that package. I'm going to say okay. Now the highlighter class again, that highlighter class, right? Where is that highlighter class? That highlighter class, I have my highlighter class Java. Yeah, my highlighter class is here. I do not need this. Okay, now my main class, I do not, this main class actually I do not, I'll be taking care of it later. My method class, my main concern here is on this particular project, right? So here, let me see where the problem is at this point. My method class, it is showing there is an error in my method class. Let me see what is that error. Okay, it is not showing anything to me. My highlighter class is there, no problem. Now from my method, from this, I'm going to take all of this, and I'm going to, in my TestNG, can you see that test? I'm going to put everything here. Okay, I do not need this. Okay, now I do not need this. I do not need this. I'm going to delete this. Okay, Okay, now if you run this, let me see if it runs first and then I'll go from there. It is going to another project. So I'm going to run my TestNG project. Let me see where is the complaint now. TestNG. Save. All the problem is gone. Now let me run it. Main type. My TestNG project. My method. My new TestNG, right? Run as TestNG. Okay, so maximize. We will take a look at the maximize. So it worked. Let me see, like there is a failure 0, skip 0. I'll come back to that. Let me see what is happening with the maximize. Did I call the maximize method? I didn't call the maximize method. That's why it is not working. So I'm going to go back to my method class and I'm going to take this maximize and new testng web driver before verify logo. I'm going to call that. Yeah, we'll take care of this. So first of all, let me maximize browser is there. Everything is there. Now, here is the thing. So can you see, like I have reused the code that I have written over there, but you will, when you write your own testng, right, you will be creating a method like this. Can you see this method? You will be creating a method, you will be writing your method, you will be copying your code from there and you will be putting it here. And then inside your testng, can you see we do not have any main method? Do you have any main method at this point? In this particular one, we do not have any main method. So let's say instead of function, let's say test, we are going to say test, let's say the name is test case 1 verify negative login. Okay, verify. This is the test case 1. Test case 1 verify negative login. In the verify negative login, we are opening the browser and then we are trying to logging in by invalid user ID and password, and then we are verifying that appropriate error message is displayed. Now, what is test ng here? In test ng, right, you do not have to have main method. Can you see at test? That means this is a test case. You can do something before that test. You can put it here. Whatever you put it here, let's say you put system dot out dot println. Right? You can say my test will be starting soon. Will be starting soon. Okay. And then after test, you can say here my test is done. You can put a lot of beautiful thing in the before test and after test, right? My test is done. Okay. Now at test is the one that actually your test case. So when you have main method, you can have only one test case inside the main method, or you can have a lot of methods, but you cannot separate them. Okay, which test case is what? But in testng, you can separate them. uh, you can write multiple test cases. This is what you do in TestNG. Now, can you see here? We will do a lot of thing in TestNG, but for now, we have this my method, right? So I'm going to create another test case now. So I'm going to copy this block and I'm going to right. I'm going to create my test case to, let's say name is verify homepage element. Verify home page elements. Okay, verify home page elements. So verify home page elements is, let's say that um, my method, this particular method verify home page elements. um, Now to verify home page elements, again I'll have to create to reuse the objects. Can you see we have created an object of the method class. Now instead of creating the object in multiple class, I can declare it like the moon is in the sky, right? We can declare it in that way, right? And then we can use it. We do not have to declare it inside every method. We can use it from every method. Like if you declare the object outside of any method, then you can use it from all of the method from this particular class. Now what you will have to do, so my WebDriver, first you are opening the browser, you are maximizing the browser, verify the logo. Let's say verify the logo up to this, we need to verify. But in the next test case, we are verifying all the home page elements. Is that correct? Do you agree with me? So in this particular test case, what we are going to do, we are in this particular test case, we have verified the negative login. But in this particular test case, we are going to verify the elements of the home page. So what we are going to do, let's say this is our website. Okay, so when you execute TestNG, right? When you execute TestNG test case, you will see that if you come here, right, and you see there is a TestNG folder. This is the library, right? And if you come here, if you right click and if you refresh, can you see test output folder? When you write your test case by TestNG, now you will see that TestNG result.xml. Do you see this? Right click and open with um, let's say open. Okay, TestNG result.xml. Can you see? You see at a glance how many test case you had, one past one, right? So this is one of the way. There is another thing. You will see that um, TestNG CSS, past PNG, index.html. Do you see this? If you open this, open, when we executed that time, right? How many test cases we have? Can you see one method passed, right? You can click on details show, and then the name of that was F. Remember, I will have changed name. You will see that in that way in TestNG itself, it creates a report of your executions. Let's say now we have two test case, right? Two test case, and then let's say your TestNG test case, if you execute it, you say run as, we are executing it one more time. Okay, we have two test cases, remember? Okay, it is open the page, verified the logo and input all the things. And then it is now executing the second test case, where we have in the second test case we are opening it and then we are verifying the logo. Yeah, we can. We'll look at that. We'll do that. But can you see in the second test case we have opened the browser and verified the logo. Now can you see we have multiple browser instance here. Can you see? It has opened. Now we have to close all of this browser instance, right? We have to close all of this browser instance. Now can you see test case run 2, failures 0, skips 0, right? So if you take a look here in this TestNG, now you will see that we have test case 1, test case 2, and can you see everything passed? So TestNG itself, it creates a summary for you. If you have multiple test case, if there is any test case failed, you will be able to see it here, right? And then, right, you go there. So close it. Now if you come here, right, if you refresh it, and then if you go to your index.html, right, okay, and you see you have two test cases. What are those test cases? Verify negative login, to verify homepage elements, right? Both of these passed. TestNG itself creates a report for you. Okay. Now let's say that it was opening multiple browser for us, right? So what we can do, like, remember that we have a after test, right? After test, in the after test method we can close, like when our tests are done, right, we can close the browser. So what we can do here in our method class, we are going to create a new method named public void close browser. Okay, and then in that method what you can do, how do you close browser, Nipa, in the test in Selenium? You put a message here, system dot out dot println, and then you say closing all browser, closing all browsers, and then here you can say my web driver dot quit, yeah. So yeah, quit closes all the browser. So now if you execute this one more time, oh, you have to now, so what will happen, close browser. Now I'm going to put this close browser inside my TestNG and here. Mhm. So here what will happen, the way we are doing it, you will see that it will be closing all the browser. Let me see, I will bring that. So let me execute that and show you what happens. Yeah, it will open and then it will verify the logo, and then can you see that it has how many browser it was able to close? We have opened two instances of the browser and it was able to close one. It was able to close one of the browser, right? So let's do this. So here in our uh, so what statement we have put here? We put my driver dot quit. Okay, now hold on. So what I'm going to do here, instead of after test, I'm going to say after method, and we'll have to import that after method. Okay, now if you execute it, now okay, I'll talk to him. So now can you see it has the first test was done and then it has closed the browser, and now it has opened another browser, and it will highlight the logo, and then it has closed the browser. Does it make sense to you what we did? Do I have any browser opened? Okay, so how did I do that? Mhm. And in the after method, can you see after method is automatically executing, automatically being executed. Once this method is done, the after method is being executed. Once this method is done, right, uh, the test case 2, the after method is executed to close the browser. Now remember one other thing, let me bring. So let's say that in this particular one, right, if you come here, can you see my WebDriver? Instead of my WebDriver, I'm going to say open browser. Open browser. Open browser. Now, this open browser, remember in your TestNG, it is my WebDriver. You have to change it. Dot open browser. Okay, I'm going to change it. Dot open browser. Okay, so here in this open browser, right, if you have 50 tests, right, uh, if you have 50 tests, what will happen? You have to open browser 50 times. If you close the browser, you have to open the browser. Is that make sense? So, so this opening part of the browser, if you close the browser after the test, if you instead of instead of after method, right, let's say that before test, we are going to say in the before test, we are going to take out this to open the browser before test. I'm going to take out this from here. Now before test, it will open the browser, and then if I execute it now, so it has opened the browser with the page, and then it will be doing the login. Yeah. Now it is failing because Remember, after opening the browser, it has done the first test case, but before it will do the next test case, it has closed the browser. Now, according to our process here, let's say that, let me close this. What we have to do, what is that, Nipa? Uh-huh. Okay, so we can go there. I have closed that, but since you have used TestNG, we can refresh and we can go to the index.html, right? You'll be able to see. Can you see we have two test cases, right? This is passed, this is failed. The test case 2 is failed. It the the details you will see that something we are trying to verify, but the browser is not there. You got it? We are trying to verify something, but we have closed the browser in the previous test. So to modify that, what we are going to do here, instead of before test, I'm going to say before method. If I say before method, it will open the browser before every test. Now if you execute, can you see it is opening the browser one more time? Okay, now are you good? Is there any failure? So what is happening? What is happening? If you go back to your code here, this is your test case 1 and then test case 2. In the before method, in the test case itself, we didn't open the browser, we didn't close the browser, but it was automatically taken care of by the before method and after method. Do you understand what is the use of before method and after method? Jaman, do you understand what is the use of before method and after method? Yeah. No, no. Can you see we do not have, we are not opening the browser anymore. So it is taken care of here by the before test and after test. Can you see the annotations? This is what we call annotations. TestNG has annotations. At test annotation means this is a test case. Before method means this is a before method. This will be executed before test case. After method means this will be executed after the test case. Okay. Now, let's say that when you execute, right? When you execute this test case, execute first and then it execute this test case. Is that true? So what you can do, you can put here priority. Priority equal to, if you, let's say I want to execute this one first, the small test case first. I'm going to say priority equal to 1. Okay. Now let's do the execution. You will see that now this test case will be executed first. You see, it will be opening the browser, it will be verifying the logo, and then it will be closing the browser. So before test and after test is, if you want to do something before all of the test executions, right? One time, that is what before test and after test is. You want to do something before your execution starts one time, you do put something there. If you want to do something one time after your test is executed, you put it there. Okay, so test run. So how many test cases you have executed here? So this time only it has executed only one test case, right? So let's see what happened. um, at test priority 1, priority 2, right? So now I'm going to execute this one more time. Let me see what happens. Run as TestNG. Okay, closing all browser. It has executed test case 1. Now it is executing test case 2. Okay, it is verifying the logo, clicking on sign in, and then okay. So it has executed 2 test cases. Now let's say that this particular test case 2, it is complete. You do not need to execute it every time. You are developing test case 1, you need to execute it multiple times to debug and continue developing. So what you can do, you can come here, put a comma, you can put enabled equal to false. Then what will happen, you run it one more time, it will only execute. You see, it has executed only one test case. Okay, so any questions so far? Any further question? Guys, you want to come up with question? Jaman, Nipa? Okay, so in this case, I have added, so this test case is done, right? Can you add this test case? Can you complete this test case where you verify all of the home page elements? Number 3, can you complete a test case to register a user and put, like, you'll be completing this particular test case too, and then there will be another test case to register users. Can you do that? Okay, all right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this is your. Let me stop recording. We did a lot of things today, but practicing is important. Now, let me stop.